Hello from a beautiful rainy Berlin today. Today we're going to be doing Lab 8, work queues. Work queues are very much like a grocery list. You go to the supermarket and you need to get all the items. Same thing with a work queue. The digital worker is going to look at the work queue to see what it has to do. It's going to go get those tasks done, and then it's going to stop when it reaches its finishing point. Now, of course, there's some really cool things around exception handling and things like that, which we'll talk about more in the lab, but without further ado, let's get into the lab.
Another lab. We are on Lab 8, and as usual, you guys have probably taken a look at the instructions, watched the little intro vid, and we're ready to go. So with that being said, we've got Lab 8 process, again, Process Studio, Lab 8 open, and we are on the main page. Now, we got a couple things to note on this. We do have a new page here. You can see Populate Queue. And this is going to be used to load the work queue search terms. So if you want to just take a look before you get started, familiarize yourself. We have done a couple little changes here. So the steps for opening and reading the Excel sheet, those have already been created. Those were the same, if not the exact same or similar from your Lab 7, the Excel VBO right before this. And the final step basically that needs to be added to this page is we're going to take the data and add it to a work queue. We did move, by the way, there's a note here in the instructions that says we have moved the search action to the search sub page. So this will be explained a little more in detail 9. So go ahead and open up the populate queue page right here, and this is where we're going to start our lab. So we'll drag and drop an action stage down here into this spot right here. And once you drag that down, we're going to go ahead and simply just link those together. So go ahead and link close workbook to action stage and action stage to end. Now we'll go ahead and pop open that action stage that we just drag and dropped onto the canvas here. And this one is going to be called Add to Queue. Now we're going to, in this example, we're going to be using a VBO work queues. So go to your business object, scroll, should be near the bottom for you guys under the internal business objects. This is one that comes out of the box with blue Prism. And we'll use our work queue right here. And for action, it should be on add to queue. So it should have defaulted there automatically, so you're good to go. Now the queue name, this is what we're going to be putting into the queue. This is going to be search terms. So again, make sure you capitalize S and T. Don't forget your quotations. Double check for any spelling checks if you're a airhead like me. And then finally, we're going to go ahead and add in a collection of terms, drag and drop that into the collection. And by the way, just you notice I knew exactly where to go in collection with that because, well, the data type had already been set as collection. Okay, so we're going to leave the rest of the inputs blank, easy breezy, and click OK. So with that being said, our populate queue page is now basically complete, and it basically will load our work queue with the search terms so that you can track each of these separately. Pretty nifty, right? So I think we're done here for now. Let me double check. Yep. So we're going to go back to our main page here, and as you can see, probably there's some errors. So we got a couple things we need to fill out here. So we're going to go and drag first a data item and a collection into our data items down here. First data item, let's call this one item ID. By the way, there's some really good notes on here, so make sure you're reading the lab right before this step. We're going to choose our text, that's in the instructions that is, and we're going to leave our initial value blank right here, okay? And the new collection we're going to be called data. And we're going to contain field and text in this. So let's go ahead and add those in. Search terms, type is text. There you go. So once you do that, click OK, and back on the main page again. Now we'll add an action stage between our prepare and work right here. So go ahead and drag that down onto the canvas. And this action stage is basically what we're going to do is we want to get next item from our queue. So go ahead and open up the action stage here. We'll call this one get next. Okay. Business object will be work queues. So go ahead and scroll down. And this one we want to do is get next item. Boom. So you should be right here. Now queue name we're going to want to have as search terms. And we'll want to put that right down here in quotations. Again, make sure your spelling and capitalization and all that. Take your time on this. Don't worry if you don't. There's an error. You can always look at the error log and see what is the problem in your automation. And now we just need to put in some outputs here. So we need to do one for item ID and data. So your data, let's go grab this one first, collection, and we'll put this, just drag and drop this right here. And we'll need to get that item ID that we just created. So under text, yep, there it is, should be right here. So one input, two outputs, there you go. So let's move this guy up here just a little bit. And now I want to get a decision stage. Drag and drop that onto the canvas here. We're going to call this got item because we want to create a loop, right? If we haven't got all of the items in our queue, let's keep that bad boy going. Next, so we're going to go into our text. You can drag and drop item ID here. And we want just to put these in like so. By the way, there's some really cool functions in here if you want to explore a little later. Highly recommend doing that. And this expression, by the way, just in case you are wondering, means does not equal. Does not equal. And placing basically no data in between the quotations, because you're like, well, wait, there's just two quotation marks right here. This basically means it's comparing it to like blank or null. Again, make sure you read the instructions on this. There's a lot of good stuff in there that goes a little more in depth. And as always, we like to validate. Yep, we're good to go. Should know me by now. And go ahead and click OK. And we are rocking and rolling. So next, we obviously want to do some linking. So we'll link launch to get next item, got next item down to here. And if we do have the item, let's go ahead and hit get data. And as you're guessing, but Corey, what about the no decision? We'll get to it in 1 second. Now we're going to go ahead and add an action stage, but we need to scroll down just a little bit and put this underneath your record in Excel right here. This one's going to be called mark item as complete. So let's put this up here. Okay. Work queues. And this one we're going to choose mark completed. Isn't this nice just having this stuff already filled out for us? So you don't have to do it. Item ID, we're going to go ahead and place that in the input right here to make sure it matches nice like this. And we'll leave the outputs alone for now. Let's go ahead and click OK. And we're going to go ahead now and enter a decision stage under close. So pop that right there. And basically what we're going to do right now is we're going to ask if the digital worker should stop getting items. Are we done for the day, basically? A phrase that all of us probably love at work. All right, now you could type this in, or you could copy and paste it, but I'll show you. There's a couple different ways. If you come over here to environment, underneath the functions, scroll down, and you'll see is stop requested. You can either drag and drop it up like this, or simply just hit the paste. It's the same thing. And then you're going to want to add a space, capital O-R for or, and then drag that item ID here and put an equals mark. Oops, there we go. And two quotations. Now, I'm not going to go over why we're doing this on here. Make sure you read the notes on this. It tells you a lot of good stuff in the instructions there. So we now have our stop decision properties page done. So we'll go ahead and click OK. And now, there it is. We're going to drag and drop or link our no. And this is yes, but we've learned a way to do that, remember. So we're going to drag and drop an item over here. Okay. And let's get one more anchor stage down here. And let's do some linking. So right now it should look something like this. Oh, that if you're a perfectionist like me, that is irritating. There we go. And so stop, we want to make sure we want to swap these. So go ahead and hit switch. So again, make sure your no is going this way and your yes is going up. And we'll need one more link for item, which is no here. So you've got a no going this way, a no going that way. Okay, just double check that you have these because it won't work if you have them swapped. All right, now we just have a couple more steps and then we're all done. Go ahead and get this get data stage right here. And now basically we want to have our search for. So if you open up text, we're going to get your data search terms, which has been provided, and simply drag and drop that into the value like so, okay? And the only thing else we're going to do is we want to do it on the other two pages. So make sure you click OK. Now I want to get Twilio. Got to have some stuff to actually search for, right? There you go. Look at this. Beautiful. I know, guys. Only 2 more labs, then you're done with me. Sad. Or happy for some of you. All right. So there we go. That's all that we're doing now for these final 3 stages. You now have your process. You are good to go. If we check that our errors, let's go ahead and hit reset. We can see our errors go to 0. Always good before running to make sure you have no errors. That's something that has definitely helped me over the past. And now, so if you want to go ahead and hit your reset and hit play, you guys are ready to go and watch your process run. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed this. 2 more to go, the home stretch. I'll see you on lab 9. Cheers.